Oh, well, hello. I've never done this before. Welcome to my live stream. Woo! This is Azalea.
Hello.
Azalea will be, I don't know,
Well, I'll just be hanging out.
Hanging out and interviewing, maybe?
I'm tech support today.
Tech support.
Which is really funny considering how much trouble I have with my own live streams when it comes to the tech stuff.
Yes, but Azalea has their own channel, which you should totally follow and subscribe to.
If you want.
But yeah, so let's start this out. Shoot. So hi. So last night, I mean, I've never done this, so I'm just gonna rap. I guess, right? I mean, like, this is, again, Azalea is teaching me how to do some of these things because I've never done them before. I know it seems surprising. So yeah, I'm here in my loungy studio.
So what'd you do last night? Where'd you play last night?
Last night was really cool. I played at the Trans Lifeline 3rd anniversary party at GitHub. Not just because GitHub is an amazing space down in downtown San Francisco, but I got to see a lot of people I've only met online and support my community and rock out with my band. And my band is killer, in case you don't know.
The neighbors are a little loud. I'm going to close the window.
You're going to close the window? Okay, that's cool.
Well, yeah, explain what Trans Lifeline is in case they haven't heard of it.
I don't know what Trans Lifeline is. Trans Lifeline is a suicide prevention hotline by and for the trans community. It's run by my friends Greta and Nina, and they are just fabulous people from here in the Bay and Chicago, and like the Trevor Project and like the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, they are staffed with peer counselors and professional folks who, for the trans community, which has its own specific needs when it comes down to having people to talk to. And for a lot of us, having somebody to reach out to is incredibly important. And it really sucks when you don't have somebody to talk to, especially in a time of need. And so, yeah. Oh, hi, Azalea. You've returned from opening the window. It's funny. Literally, when you come back, the screen gets warmer. Aw.
Cute.
Yes.
I'm gonna go over here real quick because again, I'm kind of doing tech support today.
Yes.
I want to just glance over and see if anyone's talking in the chat window. So if you're also new to doing the live streams, if you're new to watching them, there's a little chat window on the side. Oh, hey.
Oh, hi, Molly. How you doing?
Oh, we're going to mute that so that we don't have feedback.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, so you can see when people are chatting. And if you want to say hi. Ooh, hey, since you're the first one in the chat, do you have any song requests? Yes, this is really cool. So you can like.
Yeah, no, I see.
Hang out with people.
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, it might just be a private concert.
It could be. Cool.
In the future, you're probably going to have some live streams that are just for the Patreon members.
That's
people
true,
who are supporting her Patreon can be part of the private concerts.
Exactly. Maybe type that into the chat thing in case they didn't hear it.
Yeah. Oops.
Hi, Molly. Any requests?
I'm pretty sure they were able to hear.
I hope so.
Actually,
who knows?
You know what? While we're here, hey Molly, would you mind also being helper tech support and let us know if the sound is okay? That would actually be helpful. Thank you.
But if not, that's cool too. So yeah. Should play some.
Nothing coming through. Oh shoot! Oh no!
No.
No sound at all.
No sound?
This entire time there's been no sound. Wait, then how did they hear that?
They should have.
Wait, how did they respond to that if they didn't hear sound? Wait, hang on.
Know.
Nothing coming through.
Go back to the thing. There should be.
That's weird. No, it says that
the microphone's off. Look. Wait, no.
No, now it's off.
We've got sound.
Yeah.
Technical difficulties.
This is what happens when you have Azalea as your tech support, actually.
Okay, let's go back to the other
standard.
page.
Oops.
Is there no sound? Or can you write that down?
Ah! The video looks great, though. This is an awesome backdrop for you. There's like a few seconds delay, so you see yourself. That's interesting.
That is interesting.
Not sure what's going on there.
Well, we can. I mean, because when we had, when you had it unmuted, I could hear sound coming out.
Yeah, like you can. I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then there's horrible feedback.
I mean, because when we had, if you sound.
Yeah, so there's sound. All right. I'm not sure.
Well, let's try something.
Yeah, you can play a thing. I'm gonna leave you to that for a moment. I'm gonna adjust it a little.
Leave on the next wind, warm current rising, the Southland begins. Leave on the next wind, leave on the next wind, the red-tailed hawks circling, tree branches thin. Leave on the next wind. Where a soft sun is shining, you'll find me on the dress of the quietest waves. Stones become washed into pebbles, then turn to sand. I'll meet you coming my way. Leave on the next wind. The wild crane's formation, where that arrow is pinned. Leave on the next wind. Shores where summer stars linger on the dress of the low country waves. The shore becomes rippled by breakers where weary birds land. I'll meet you coming my way. Leave on the next one. Warm current rising, where the Southland begins. Leave on the next wind. Autumn comes in. Leave on the next wind. Hi. Yep, that was a song. That was definitely a song. All right, cool. Where we go? There we are.
We're over here.
Yeah, it's hard to not watch myself in real time.
I know, it's super weird. You get used to just talking to yourself.
Is it working?
It is working.
It is working.
Yeah, it's working.
It's coming through.
I checked it on. I pulled up a link on my phone.
Cool. The sound's working too?
I didn't want it to interfere, so I didn't check.
Well, you should probably check the sound.
All right, check this out.
So yeah, here I am, me, Mya Byrne.
Inception.
Can you hear stuff?
Working on it. Oh shoot! I don't know if the sound's working. What did you do when you were poking around with the sound? Wait, but we heard you a second ago.
It was.
Oh no, it was picking up the other sound. For some reason, this one isn't working. Hang on here.
What? It was picking up.
All right, tech support time. Here we go. Let's see how we get the thing to work.
All right, you should pause it. Oh.
No. This one wasn't playing sound. The other one was. This one isn't working. Hang on here.
It's working. It's totally working.
It is working. Your sound is on. You're not blocked any of these things.
So, but it's working on here. Let's see if I can pull it up on my phone.
Yeah.
Is this boring for anybody?
I mean, it's only a couple people here. Sorry, Molly. And whoever else happens to be watching this after the fact when it's not live anymore. Sorry. Oh, then it's picking up all the clicking too. Oh, well, that's okay. Come on.
Ooh, I'm live now. I'm live now.
You're still live. Yeah, you're still live. Now you're doing a live stream. Just chilling. That's okay.
Hello. Oh, it's me. Looking at me. Doing me.
Whoa.
Eddie.
I don't know why that's being so weird, but first live stream, that's pretty like it happens. There was this one horrible one where I tried live stream.
It's working.
Okay, it's working there. Yes, I'm not really sure why that's. I blame my phone. My phone's terrible. Yeah, I did this one where I was trying to do like a game, and it picked up the sound of the game, and it picked up me, and it was just a horrible loop. And then I started laughing at it. And then I started laughing at it, and it was like the sound of my laughter echoing, and it was really horrific.
Ooh, 4 viewers.
Oh my God. Hi, guys. Y'all. How is everyone doing? You can totally chat with us in the little box over thingy over to the side, too.
Yeah, that's right.
I would suggest turning that off so that you're not using up all of your internet points. Doing like multiple streamy things at the same time.
Okay.
But it's up to you. Yeah, so there's a little chat window. You can say hi, you can request songs.
Why don't you ask me some questions? I like being interviewed.
So how's it going?
No, you're not in the frame anymore, are you?
I don't need to be in the frame.
I like it when you
okay, hang on. Okay. It's the other window.
You can do that. Oh yeah, you are.
I'm in the frame.
Okay, great. Clicks, kids.
So let's see, asking you questions. So, people donate to Trans Lifeline if they want to support Trans Lifeline.
That's a very
Is there a neat way they can donate through the video?
Well, yes. Yeah, there is a neat way that you can donate through the video. If you go to the right-hand corner, upper right-hand corner of the video, and click I thing,
Which is
yes, it will enable you to make a direct donation to Trans Lifeline, the organization for which I played last night. I also have a track up on Bandcamp It's myabyrne.bandcamp.com, and the lead track, American Dream, is going to be going directly, all of the Trans Lifeline, and it's all of it is going to Trans Lifeline. So if you want to get something for your donation, go to my page and check it out. myabyrne.bandcamp.com. That's really good stuff.
Nice.
At least I think so. Oh, hi.
So this chat window doesn't stay here after the stream.
Hi, Steph. Hi, Steph.
So someone just said, hi, Azalea. Hi, Mia. Last night's stream was super great, too.
Yeah.
Woo! Thank you for supporting Trans Lifeline. Heart. Love, Steph.
Yeah, Steph, you rock. Yeah. I'm glad you would, blah, 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 blah. I was going to say something positive about how I was thinking about, everybody stuff. I have no words right now. I'm only one cup of coffee into things.
Live streaming is super weird.
Is it super weird?
You end up like just rambling and being like, I don't know if anyone's even watching. What am I even doing? But it's fun too.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad the stream last night worked. I was worried about that. I didn't get a chance to see it, and I'm hoping it's archived, because the show last night was live streamed, and I felt pretty good about it. It's rare for me to say I feel pretty good about a show, but this. Okay, ask me more questions, Azalea.
I mean, and anyone watching can also ask questions.
Of course,
here
in the little chatty thing.
I'm just making small talk. So how did you get into music?
How did I get into music? Well, I grew up in a house. My father's a rabbi, and both of my parents were really into. They grew up in this sort of classic rock era, and then my dad fancied himself somewhat of a playboy, so we had a hi-fi when he married my mom.
I don't know what a hi-fi is. I am not the musician.
A hi-fi is a term for a very good stereo system.
Cool.
So I grew up with a very, very nice stereo and a whole bunch of really great like jazz records and blues and rock and folk, and there was always music in my house. Since my father's a rabbi, we would always have holidays and sing around the kitchen table in Hebrew or Yiddish, I guess, or they're called Zmirot, which is the songs that you kind of sing before, like after a meal. Just like a nice little tradition that kind of comes at it. And but then again, I would sit there on the living room rug, lie down on the living room rug with my head down between the two speakers, listening to like John Coltrane and Beethoven and Buffy St. Marie and like Eric Clapton and whatever else my mother and father had kicking around. And then my mom had this one day I discovered this stack of 45s. I just started with Mr. Tambourine Man by Roger McGuinn and like worked my way down through my mother's teenagerhood, and all of it because they were all hers, and on my little Fisher Price record player, and that's how I really got into music. Steph has a question. Do I like to play other instruments and not just kick ass on guitar? Well, thank you for the compliment. I do play lots of other instruments. I play lap steel, I play bass, I play mandolin. I mess around with the banjo some. I have done banjo on some records. I'm not the world's greatest banjo player, but mandolin is probably, mandolin and bass are my two favorite instruments to play outside of guitar. And I like to play Hammond organ, but I don't often get a chance to. Mostly do that in the studio. Sometimes I do it live with people, and it's really great, but not everybody knows that I play keyboards or half-assedly play keyboards. If you give me something, I'll make it rock.
Yeah, like, oh, there's an instrument. She'll like pick it up and just start playing something. It's ridiculous.
We had a nice little jam with the cello.
Yeah, so she had a cello. Someone else had like a drum, and he was just like drumming, and they were playing music. And then I was reading excerpts from a book of Mr. Rogers quotes.
was pretty.
It was really cool.
It was very beatniky. We should do that.
It
Like
was
Cafe
really. It was like.
or so.
Yeah, I would actually love to do that as a live stream sometime, and just have a jam session where I'm like reading Rumi or Mr. Rogers or Amanda Palmer quotes, because I love her.
Yeah,
and her book has a lot of good quotes.
There are a lot of good quotes. I mean, I have lots of poetry books.
Yeah. Let's see how many people are on here.
I don't know.
People will come and go.
Oh yeah, they come and go.
I mentioned it on my Twitter too.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And if you're not already following Mya on Twitter, it's I can't. It's at MYADRIENE.
Yep.
Hard to say. How would you pronounce that?
I don't know
anymore.
You know, I used to pronounce my name Maya, and now I pronounce it Mya, because sometimes trans people change their names or pronunciations of their names. So originally it was just like my Adrian. You know, it's like, oh, it's funny. It's a portmanteau of my first name and my middle name. And then I was like, now it's just locked into. Yeah, so I'd like to change it, but
is Mya Byrne taken yet?
Mya Byrne is taken.
What?
Mya Byrne is taken. It's terrible.
You guys should have like a
Mya Byrne
music off. Yeah, you should have a.
I don't know who that person could be.
I'm like thinking of like the fiddles, banjos. I'm so bad. Yeah, that thing. With the other Mya Byrne.
Come on, Azelle, you must have some burning questions for me.
Oh, is that a joke? Because your name is Byrne?
No, it wasn't a joke.
Is that a pun?
I was trying to.
Tune in next week for more fantastic puns over here. Mya Byrne.
My hair looks like.
Yeah. You get to see the real Mya Byrne.
This is the real
unfiltered
live. Like a camel.
I immediately pictured like an actual camel, and I'm like, why would you filter a camel?
Don't smoke, kids.
Yeah, don't smoke. It's bad. Just jam it. If somebody wanted to learn how to be a musician, what would be your first move? Like day one?
Day one? Figure out what instrument you want to play. And then try and get the best one you can afford. Because what happens with a lot of people is they buy cheap instruments, and cheap instruments tend to be really hard to play. And you don't have to pay a lot to get a decent instrument. Yamaha guitars, for instance, are really good. And then there are online tutorials. One of the good things about if you have an Apple computer is GarageBand has a lot of tutorials within it. There's YouTube is fantastic for learning guitar.
Anything on YouTube?
I think one of the things that, and then songbooks are really great. That's one of the ways I learned how to play, was getting songbooks of some of my favorite artists with easy guitar chords, or easy piano chords. And that was a really good way to do it, and just play along with other. Yeah, and it's really developing your ear too. I mean, singing along to the radio, all of these things. Students a lot. When I'll teach them the basic chords, G, D, C, A, E, and I'll tell them to try to listen for those chords in songs, because and once you start unlocking that piece of music and being able to identify it, which isn't that hard to do, even for people who aren't like trained in music, once you start hearing the sounds, you can start to imitate the sounds. And as I was discussing with a poet friend of mine, the best ways to learn is by imitation. So there's so many people out there who'll be willing to teach you. And, you know, I love teaching people, not to plug myself, but I love teaching people how to play bass and guitar. And there are so many people. One of the best things to do is to pick up a ukulele and a ukulele songbook.
Yeah.
Ukuleles are awesome. I play.
Yeah.
Not, you know.
Amanda has a song about the ukulele, and it's like this ridiculous song about like how to play it, and like, yeah, you know, just bring your ukulele wherever you go and bring some joy into the world, and it's just ridiculous.
My good friend Roger Greenewalt, who's a producer in New York, whom I work with, he started playing ukulele a number of years ago, and that became his thing, is to carry his ukulele everywhere. And you know, and as he says, it's like, how can you play ukulele and not smile?
Yeah.
You know, if I had a ukulele, I keep losing ukuleles, and it's sad, really. I had one when I was a kid, it got broken. I had one when I was a grown-up, and it got broken, and I need a new one.
So I'm planning on getting one, so you can borrow mine.
Oh, thanks. That's sweet of you.
My first ukulele memory, you know, everyone knows their first ukulele memory. But in college, there was like, people would pull the fire alarms all the time. And so like everyone would file out of the dorms, and everybody be outside in the middle of the night in their pajamas. And I just remember this one girl would like always have her ukulele with her whenever we got kicked out for fire drills. So it would be like the middle of the night, we're all freezing, and it's like wet outside, and she's just like, later.
Fun fact, almost all of the Beatles songs written after 1965 were written on ukulele, at least for...
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. George Harrison got turned on to the ukulele, and then he got Paul into it, and then John, Paul, and George all had ukuleles.
So is there like a hidden secret Beatles ukulele album somewhere?
Pretty much every, well, I mean, like every Beatles song written like after 65, 66 may have, a lot of them were written on ukulele. Like Here Comes the Sun is totally all ukulele. Whatever, I can't play without a capo, but all of those riffs are ukulele based, because you can do this sort of I was trying to play, you know, Let Me Take You Down to Strawberry Fields or whatever, you know, or like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, you know, it's like, you know, it's like, it's basically all very simple stuff. And but there's, when they went to India with the Maharishi, they wrote a lot of the songs for there, and some of the songs that went on to Abbey Road, and pictures of them with ukuleles, they talk about it. And in the Beatles anthology that came out in 2000, there's a really great scene of Paul and George sitting in, I guess, Paul's backyard with ukuleles just playing together, and it's the cutest thing ever. It's the cutest thing ever.
Just glancing over here real quick, don't mind me.
No, you're fine.
Oh, this turned into like ukulele chat.
What's wrong with ukulele chat?
Nothing's wrong with it. I think it's fun that, like, I mean, at least with my live streams, they tend to just kind of like, you know, change subjects all the time. I don't know. Do you want to like talk about any trans stuff, or stick with the music stuff?
Oh,
or,
we
like,
can talk about trans stuff.
What's it like to be an out trans musician?
It's hard.
Heavy sigh.
It's really hard. On the one hand, one of the greatest things about being sorry. One of the best things about being an out trans musician is that I'm able to explore realms musically that I don't think I was able to before.
Well, like you've performed at Transmarch.
I performed at Transmarch
for the Trans Lifeline benefit.
Trans Lifeline benefit. I'm often cited or called upon in articles. it's a small world of trans musicians. So there's there's this great like little like siblinghood. A lot of trans musicians hang out together. A lot of us know each other, but I think it's just that having my feet in these two waters, which is just my former and still current life of being like, you know, this kick-ass studio musician in New York and performer internationally. It's I still have wonderful friends and a great fan base where I'm from, and within the world, the more straight heteronormative folk world. At the same time, I find my own music veering more and being accepted more in the trans punk scene, which is huge for me because before it was kind of difficult because I was doing more of the folk scene, which again tends to be very heteronormative and I mean, I know a lot of people in the folk scene who are doing really well and who are in the closet, and they have to be, and I couldn't be anymore. And I've written about this. Is that it's sort of that the when you come out as trans, especially when like you're someone like me who has a specific trajectory, sometimes the timeline gets pushed back. Like my metrics have totally changed. So
what do you mean by your timeline?
There's no solid timeline in music, right? It's every time I get up on stage, I'm just like, maybe today is the day that I get discovered, or maybe the day is, you know, it's like, that's why I give it my all at every show, not because of that, but because it's the most important thing. The most important thing is to give the best show I can to the people who are watching the show, no matter if there's 40 people in the audience or 400. I will say that, or three. And I will say that as I've come out more, some of the opportunities that I had in the past feel a little more closed off to me than they did previously, which is both sad for me and also just makes me want to open up about it a little more. I don't like the fact that women, and especially trans people in general, tend to be excluded from a lot of things. And it's also upsetting because as a trans woman, sometimes I see trans men doing really, really well and in live music, and I don't see that happening with per se, aside from the people who are, you know, very obviously out in the mainstream, like Nina Caputo and Large and Grace, who fully acknowledge their privilege and the fact that they were able to come out in a way that preserved their careers, and they had very established careers beforehand. And I know Nina is one of the most amazing people in the world and totally humble about her own success. But I think there's a thing that runs through all trans musicians, which is just we all seem to want to help each other in a certain way, and there's like a lot of wonderful camaraderie. And tonight playing on a bill of all trans women basically was amazing, and I've only done that a few times. The first show I had in San Francisco was a gig of all trans women and one genderqueer person, and it was just, whoa, it's the first time I've ever done this. And now a lot of my life has become playing within queer punk spheres and also queer folk punk, and it's opened me up to things that I didn't think were accessible to me when before transition, and certainly when I was doing more mainstream folk Americana. That said, I won an award in 2016 for my songwriting. Songs of mine have been featured and whatever and blah blah blah. But it's hard when you realize that being a relatively butch dyke trans woman, you know, I'm probably the least saleable thing.
I mean, depending on who the audience is.
Depending on who the audience is, but if the default audience, which because capitalism
for folk Americana,
the default audience tends to be, you know, I think like people like Ockerville River and like, you know, what's their names, you know, those guys. Anyway,
but you were talking about like the show that was almost entirely trans women.
Yeah,
and like I love that if there aren't spaces available for you to play, if like, you know, mainstream shows are not really hiring trans women, it's like, all right, you're gonna put on your own. Like, I love that that's starting to happen more and more, of like trans folks putting on shows and hiring a bunch of other trans people, and like that's sort of like boosting each other up and creating spaces for performances, and that's so important.
I think it's,
instead of just waiting around for the, you know, white cis hetero patriarchy blah 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 to hire you.
Exactly.
Like, no, we're gonna make our own concerts and it's gonna be awesome and we're gonna rock.
And arguably I would say that you know, I've been in professional music for 15 years, more than that really, but like let's just say since 2003 I've been performing as a solo / band performer, and arguably I've found more success in terms of acceptance, and also queer people really understand that we are a small and vibrant community. And God, why am I not in the camera? And
yeah, what are you doing?
I'm trying to think. Sometimes I can't look and think at the same time. It's really wonderful the way that we support each other, and we create, like you're saying, we're creating these spaces, but then people will come along and make sure we're all getting paid and that we're getting paid fairly. People are compensating us for our work, which you know, is really not happens very often.
And speaking of that, if you want to support Mya and her work, since it's really hard to promote yourself sometimes, you can join her Patreon. Any amount that you donate monthly helps support her creating more music, and you can see like behind the scenes stuff, and you can hear about new songs, and you can also buy her music on Bandcamp. One of the songs is, that was weird, something weird flashed on the screen. One of the songs, what's it called?
American Dream.
American Dream, sorry. American Dream, the proceeds from that one go towards Trans Lifeline. So you can support her and her music and help make more of this stuff happen.
Sure.
How do you feel about playing that song to sign off?
Sure, that's good. Thank you so much, Azalea, for helping me with my first live stream. Azalea, what's your channel?
It's, the name is complicated. I don't remember the exact URL, but if you search Azalea Pony, there's like a channel with a big purple pony logo. That's me. And on Twitter, I'm also Azalea Pony. And I do live streams over there from time to time, and it's pretty much me rambling and just talking about stuff.
Sometimes you give classes and do stuff.
Yeah, I've done classes on there and stuff too. But
yeah,
Azalea's
pretty cool. Check them out.
Thanks.
Thanks, Viv. Woke to another good nightmare. Normal American day. Newspapers filled with the names of those kids. Blood money, liberty paid. Harbor lady stands waiting. The fire eternally burns. Will she stop crying if we stop denying lesson that should have been learned? And I say, so welcome to today, repeating every mistake, come so far away. And I say, I don't believe it's too late to fix everything that we break. so far away. I'm sick of these rules, rules and meanings. Close the American mind. After I spent my whole life searching for what wasn't easy to find. When you unravel one loose end, you're bound to tear out every thread. And all I see is greed, so many of me, and children keep winding up dead. And they say, what's the world come to today? Repeating every mistake, come so far away. And they say, I don't believe it's too late. Fix everything that we pray. Come so far away. Ooh, yeah. And I say, what's the world come to today? Repeating every mistake. Come so far away. And I say, I don't believe it's too late to fix everything that we pray. Come so far away. So far away. So far away. So far away. All right, I guess that's the end of this live stream. Thank you so much for tuning in. And yeah, there'll be more of these, I think. This was super fun. Thank you, Azalea.
Yeah, totally. Get you over here. Ready to sign off?
Yep, signing off.